Okay, so what we have here is every 6 months you have to do a service on this machine. Included in the service is going to be an air test. So you're going to need a couple things to do this properly. Due to the fact that this compressor is a standalone device, does not have a step-down regulator, and the pressure is at 4350. So to do this safely, so we don't blow the blow disc in the test kit, we're going to use our Jordair ATR-K kit, which comes with a step-down regulator and all the fittings that can work on any of these portable units, including hookup for scuba, hookup for DIN, and hookup for CGA 346 or 347 connectors. You're also going to need on these machines is you're going to need something to regulate the pressure so we get a continuous pressure going into our air test kit. So how we do that, we are going to take this adapter, we're going to screw it onto the second fill hose on this unit. This has a muffler on it. It has a inline Dacor line valve. So while the machine is running, so it doesn't go to full pressure and kick the auto drain open or drop below our preset value on the pressure maintaining valve, we need to feed a constant pressure to our air test kit. So how we're going to do that is we are going to control it using the Dacor line valve. We're going to open this up until on the final stage pressure gauge, we get continuous about 3 to 3,500 PSI. Once we have that, we're going to hook up our air test kit and we're going to flow this thing for 10 minutes so we can actually control the pressure going in. It's going to be 1,000 PSI on this test kit, and we're going to do that for 10 minutes. But to do this safely, you do need this kit on these portable units. Okay, so we've already shown you guys how to actually run this machine. We're now going to show you how to do a proper air test safely on these machines that are portable and don't have a regulator on the machine. So what you're going to need to start with is you're going to need a high pressure air test kit. It's going to be coming from RPC. You're also going to need the Jordair, the J-ATR kit. This is a kit complete with a step-down regulator with all the connections, so you're able to hook that compressor up and flow this thing at 1,000 PSI. I've taken the components out of the J-ATR kit. I've driven them together to enable us to hook up our DIN 300 to a regulator with a bleed valve, a gauge, and a fill whip going to a Dacor line valve, and we have a CGA 346 connection which hooks up to our actual test bottle from RPC. Okay, so this is going to hook up like this to our air test bottle. We're going to turn it so we can get at the regulator. We're going to close the vent off, keep the regulator closed. Another component we're going to need for this is going to be some way to control the pressure as we go through this machine. We want the machine to actually, while it's running, we want the discharge pressure to sit between about 3 and 3,500. You do not want the machine to shut off while you're doing the air test. You're going to flow this for about 10 minutes through the machine. We're going to feed 1,000 PSI off this regulator, and it's going to flow through here, so you don't worry about seeing any pressure on this gauge. The main thing is we want to see 1,000 PSI in this gauge. After 10 minutes, what we're going to do is we're going to leave the machine running, close the drain valve on the air test bottle. We're going to watch this gauge wind up to 1,000 PSI. Once we hit 1,000 PSI, we're going to close off this valve, and we're going to close off this drain valve. Make sure this is closed, this valve is closed. Then you're going to take it, you're going to put it back in the box, and you're going to send it back to RPC at 1,000 PSI for the air test. Okay, so here's how we're going to hook up the air test kit and the bypass venting valve so we can do the air test on this machine. We're going to take fill valve line number 1. We're going to hook it up to the inlet side of our regulator with the DIN 300 connector. The second thing we're going to hook up, we're going to take fill line number 2 up to our venting device so we can actually control the pressure of this while we're doing the filling. So number 1 is hooked up to our Jordair air test regulator kit. Number 2 line is hooked up to our vent valve so we can control the fill pressure while filling. Okay, so prior to starting the compressor, there's a couple positions that you want to have everything in. We've got the line hooked up from line number 1, fill number 1, over to our regulator. We've got the regulator backed off. We close the drain valve. We open this valve over here. We close off the bleed valve here. We open this valve, inline valve, so the air will go into here. We're going to leave this capped off right now until we get air flowing in it. Once we've got air flowing in it, we're going to dial our regulator up to 1,000 PSI. We're going to open this valve and we're going to allow air to flow through this for 10 minutes. So what I've got happening here is I've got the vent line hooked up. I'm coming off fill valve number 2 and I've backed it off. We got about 3,500 PSI on the machine, between 3,000 and 3,500. Okay, now I'm going to dial up the regulator to supply 1,000 PSI to the test kit after I've opened fill valve number 1. Okay, now I'm going to dial up the regulator to 1,000 PSI, and I'm going to open the drain valve on the test bottle. So we're going to flow this for 10 minutes. We're going to try and maintain between 3,000 and 3,500, regulating it with fill valve number 2. Okay, we've let it flow through the actual test bottle for 10 minutes. Now we're going to close off the valve and get 1,000 PSI in the actual test bottle. Okay, we got 1,000 PSI in the test bottle now. We're going to close off our valve here. Ensure that the outboard one is closed, and we're going to close off this one. We're going to vent the pressure off, unhook the bottle. We have 1,000 PSI in the test bottle, and we're going to put the test bottle back into the kit. Always ensure that you put the cover on here, and then we're going to go over to the workbench and we're going to show you guys how to fill out the proper paperwork for this. Okay, just want to point out, if you do get a carbon monoxide alarm while you're running, it's a good chance that you've actually picked up carbon monoxide. That's why we recommend actually putting a 20-foot intake hose to get this intake as far away from the exhaust as you can. If you do get a carbon monoxide shutdown, what you want to do is you want to come over to the drain valve here, and while it's running, you want to drain the filter down, let it pump up, drain it down a couple times. Because what we want to do is we want to purge the collected carbon monoxide out of the final filter tower. If this procedure doesn't work, it probably means that you actually need to calibrate the CO monitor itself. Okay, we've collected the air sample on the machine. Now we're going to do the paperwork. So we need the identification of the compressor. The identification of the compressor is right on top of the ID plate here. It has the model number and the serial number. If this plate somehow goes missing, we can come around to the back of the compressor. Directly underneath the intake filter for the machine, stamped into the top of the block, is the serial number. So once we have that, we're going to get paperwork out of the box that comes along with the air sample kit. We have to fill out the air sample tag here. So we've got the RPC cylinder number, the company name. Line pressure was 1,000 PSI. The duration of flow was 10 minutes. And we controlled the pressure to about 3,500 PSI. Okay, we're going to fill out the rest of the reports on here. So the sample date was July 24, 2025. The sample cylinder was HP 325. We're going to tick off the top box, analyzed to the D&D spec. The make and model of the compressor is a Jordair MIL-1214-G as indicated on the front of the belt guard. The serial number is 22P110563/08. Purge time on this was 10 minutes. The line pressure while sampling was 1,000 PSI, and we flowed it for 10 minutes. We've ticked off compressed air here, and the compressed air, it is a HP kit or a high pressure kit. The purification system on this is a JBP61. We have a mechanical separator, we have a catalytic converter, we have water vapor, final particulate filter, activated charcoal and carbon monoxide monitor, and the location in the breathing air system was from the fill hose on the outside of the machine. We changed the filter on this. We ran it for 2 hours to break the filter in, and we did the final air test. You will then put your signature on here, your position, the date, and the command and base unit contact person of where you are working.